Alright, Corey Powell, let's see what you got. Hit me with your best shot. This episode starts with Scootaloo racing through Ponyville. What does this remind me of? Oh yeah, one of my least favorite episodes ever. Oh Corey, I can tell right now that we're going to be the best of friends. I'll still give you the benefit of the doubt, but just a heads up, you probably shouldn't remind me of episodes I don't like. The ride ends when Rainbow Dash compliments Scootaloo and gets her to fall into a pile of hay. Scootaloo brags about this to the other CMC, and is obviously a little overzealous about it. She ends up saying that she wants to spend some time with Rainbow Dash, so Apple Bloom reveals that she's going camping with Applejack. She'd be glad to invite both Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo. Then Sweetie Belle reveals that she wants to go, and wants to invite Rarity to come along. And she does it in the most hilarious way possible, which is definitely worth a point. Rarity ends up going, but in turn Sweetie Belle has to carry all of her shit. They both seem happy about it, so I'd consider that a fair trade. Wait a minute, Applejack and Rarity together doing something that requires sleeping. This reminds me a lot of another writer's first episode, but a lot of characters co-star in multiple episodes, so I really shouldn't assume.
This story is called The Legend of the Headless Horse.
I've been told that these very woods are haunted by the Headless Horse.
Oh my God. Well, for curiosity's sake, let's see why I failed that episode. Well, I suppose we can automatically strike number 2 off of the list. And are Applejack and Rarity actually in character?
Who gets the last laugh when you're absolutely desperate to curl your lashes and you realize you didn't bring your eyelash curler?
Good. Let's see how this plays out. They start hiking, and Scootaloo wants to know where Rainbow Dash is. Applejack says that she'll meet them at the first campsite.
Are we there yet?
I'm watching you, Corey.
The last 1,000 times you asked that, the answer was no. This time, it's actually yes.
Okay, that was a good one. I'm gonna strike number 1 off the list, but I'm still watching you. Rainbow Dash arrives at the campsite and instantly shows off how cool she is by setting it up in a few seconds. And it just so happens that Scootaloo is going to be sharing a tent with Rainbow Dash, a decision that helps the plot and actually follows logic. Later that night, Rainbow Dash is about to tell a story.
Rarity had wings, and then they got ruined, and then you saved her from plummeting to her doom?
You actually respect the show's continuity. Perhaps we are going to be really good friends. The story that Rainbow actually decides to tell is a ghost story about something called the Olden Pony. And just like another episode, we fast forward through the ghost stories, the CMC being scared like children, and Applejack and Rarity comforting their sisters. Okay, we can strike number 3 off the list, and since there's been no real arguing, strike number 4 off the list as well. Scootaloo pretends that the story didn't scare her, and that impresses Rainbow Dash, but it's quite clear that she's terrified and incredibly jumpy, and unfortunately she doesn't have a sister to comfort her. The howling wind and the noises of the night get Scootaloo to duck inside, and, she really does snore like that. Scootaloo closes her eyes for a brief moment, so we know that this is going to be a dream sequence. She exits the tent to find that she's been transported to hell, where she gets chased by the Olden Pony. You know, I would say that the nightmare fuel is a little bit much, but Crazy Twilight was far scarier, and it doesn't last for more than a minute. Oh, hi Luna! Scootaloo wakes up from her nightmares, and she begins humming to herself until morning. Hey, it's the biofascination like that other writer has. As long as it's kept brief and only where it absolutely needs to be, I won't mind that much. They get going, and Scootaloo is having some of the side effects of sleep deprivation. So the showstoppers, Look Before You Sleep, and now Applebuck season. I guess it's different here because Scootaloo is only nearly killing herself, not nearly killing others. I suppose we can add Mr. Magoo to the mix. Hey, Applejack actually notices that there's something wrong with Scootaloo. You know, unlike that other episode where one of the characters didn't notice jack shit. They get to the next campsite, and Applejack decides that they're going to take shelter in a cave. That's actually a pretty stupid idea, considering that wild animals generally live in caves, and caves don't provide the insulation that tents do. But I guess it's really no big deal. Scootaloo is instructed to go get firewood, and she's engulfed in fear. Normally, I don't like humor coming from a character's misery, but I'm actually okay with this, because it's not another character doing it or some sadistic cosmic force. It's Scootaloo's own fears, as in Scootaloo herself doing the torment. Rainbow Dash is about to tell another one of her ghost stories, but Scootaloo decides that she's got a better one. In fact, she probably tells the scariest story imaginable.
There once was a really nice pony who lived in a bright and sunny land.
G3 MLP. Rainbow tells her not to tell that story because it might scar Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom for life, and instead she tells the story about the Headless Horse. The story drives Scootaloo further into fear, and Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle closer to their sisters. This is all very touching, actually. Scootaloo suggests they sing a song, and Sweetie Belle goes right for it. because it's like past midnight and they've been hiking for 2 days straight. Even the best singer in the world would probably be shitty under those conditions. And that's probably why she forgot her stage fright too. Scootaloo tries to get them to stay up even later, but everyone is way too tired. Applejack is still perceptive, and Rainbow's understandably not perceptive. Yay, you're doing it right! Scootaloo falls asleep once again, and ends up back in hell. And then, holy shit, forget about telling us about the headless horse. They showed us the damn thing. That takes guts. Oh, and Luna vaporizes the thing. She explains that it's her duty to come into the dreams of others, which is extremely confusing. Not because it's impossible, but because it isn't explained very well. Not here, at least. If you want to know how she became Nightmare Moon while still having this particular power, the comics do make a good case for it. No, I'm confused because we don't hear the extent of her power. Is she in the dreams of every pony, or did she just happen to wander into Scootaloo's dream out of a lucky coincidence? I have to deduct a point for this, but only one because it's simply unlikely at its current explanation. Luna gets Scootaloo to admit that she's afraid of looking not so tough in the eyes of Rainbow Dash, and Luna tells us the moral. You have to face your fears. And is it just me, or does she say face your fears in the most frightening way possible? Scootaloo wakes up, and the water droplets in the cave cause her to become jumpy, and she hears the whinnying of what she thinks to be the headless horse. It's actually Rainbow snoring, which is hilarious. Scootaloo goes running off into the night, and ends up plunging into a river. Usually they just have the character hang there, but no, this show goes balls all out and has Scootaloo actually plummet in. Luckily, Rainbow Dash saves her while she's falling off of a waterfall. And yes, this is totally possible. I always assumed that Luna woke Rainbow Dash up immediately after she woke Scootaloo up. Rainbow Dash yells at Scootaloo, demanding to know what she was doing out in the woods. Scootaloo sobs to herself, and then Luna appears in the moon. Sorry guys, but I gotta do this.
I am the shadow on the moon at night.
Anyway, Luna tells Scootaloo to face her real fears, and Scootaloo admits everything. Then we get a really emotional moment, a rightfully deserved emotional moment that's worth 2 points. At the end, maybe I was going a little too far when I said that this episode took a lot from Look Before You Sleep.
It is so on! It is on.
Oh my god. It's like Corey Powell saw the disaster that was Look Before You Sleep and decided to fix everything that was wrong with it. The characters are all in character and actually have a reason to be there. Each scene has actual purpose. There was touching and realistic character development. Everything and everyone had an actual reason to be there. The Luna thing was definitely world building. It was just poorly explained, but not blatantly impossible like the Cake Twins going Super Saiyan. So it's either Corey Powell wanted to fix Look Before You Sleep, or Charlotte Fullerton took some kind of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde potion. Wait a minute. Charlotte Fullerton isn't writing this season, is she? They have similar interests, and one is good and the other is bad. That can't be right, can it?